What is going on, everybody? Bobby Fye and Eric Sheetshaber. We're going to be talking about this NBA slate. We'll talk about the NFL slate, even though it says NHL on there. And I'm sure Sheets can drop in any of his NHL takes if he wants to.
NHL locked already.
Oh, there you go. Never mind. I just saw it on I was trying to edit the thing, but Brandon set it up for NBA, NHL instead of NFL. So
how'd you do in football yesterday?
I was very disappointed. I actually thought I was going to do very well because I had a lot of good Murray stacks. The problem is I had like 2 Jets in every one of those lineups, so that kind of killed me. And Taysom Hill, I knew it was a bad day right off the bat when Taysom Hill gets 90-yarder wiped off the board, 90-yard touchdown, and that was one of my big plays. So it was a little disappointing. How did you do?
I did all right in the bigger buy-ins. I cashed in the Wildcat and all the power sweeps playing the Patriots in every lineup.
That's amazing. I actually ended up going, that was my third highest owned stack was the Patriots.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I ended up going with it.
Yeah. So I did all right in there, not so well in the Millie Makers or whatever. And obviously it was a very, very low scoring, pretty weird slate to say the least.
Absolutely. It was one of the strangest. Probably we get a couple really weird ones every year. This feels like that was the weird one. All right, so moving on to tonight, you want to talk about some basketball first? Or
yeah, definitely. So I'm just rerunning my projections right now. So I had a couple of I didn't get a chance to watch what you liked earlier. I just figured everything would change. Yeah. But first of all, with these Rockets, we don't know who's even. Do we know who's starting yet, even for this team, or don't we?
No, I think the assumption is that Amen Thompson will start, but I don't think that's. I actually don't even necessarily agree with that assumption. I actually think there's a lot of people who want to see Reed Sheppard get more time. So
can they both start?
Well, they're not missing anybody else really. That the rest of their starting lineup is intact.
No, I only asked because again, I'm just running my stuff now, and the last I remember, they were both looked like smash plays. Can they both be smash plays if only one of them starting? Or? Okay.
Yeah, even if they don't start, I mean, Amen Thompson, when you give him minutes, he's a good fantasy point per minute guy anyway. But you take the point guard off he's going to play more minutes for sure. And Sheppard at 3,100 is just hard to argue with that because it's not one of those things where it's like, okay, if he gets 20, you're probably okay, maybe, but there's a chance he gets 35, and you might absolutely just have to have him. But I like you, I'm getting nearly what I've currently got 95% of Thompson and 65% of Sheppard. So, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with putting them together.
I literally just ran the stuff, so I have to see exactly what it looks like. But I had a couple of other guys I wanted to ask you about.
Yeah, Bongo Fiesta just said that apparently it's official that Amen Thompson's starting. Although I don't see that anywhere, but I'm going to trust him that Amen is in fact starting because I just don't see it anywhere. But yeah, so we're assuming that he's starting right now.
No, what I was going to say is even before I opened up these projections, I wanted to ask you about a couple of guys that I wrote down a little earlier that looked like, it seemed like good values at the time, but it might have, kind of fallen off the wayside. I'm not even sure what teams these guys are on. Yeah, none of these guys are projecting. So who is Berzelis?
Manas Berzelis. He's for the Bulls. He's, he played, I don't think he's he played 5 minutes with their lineup currently the way it is. If they get blown out, maybe he gets some run.
Okay, so Jalen Smith. Oh, Jalen Smith is back. Okay.
Yeah. I'm not going to kick on his name in DK BBF. I'm just going to say BBF. I'll take your word for it. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, sure, Berzelis, he might get more minutes going forward. He played pretty well when they were missing Levine and stuff. But with Levine back, I don't think that there's a huge opening unless Jalen Smith is announced out, which I don't have that news in front of me either. For whatever reason, somehow, I don't think we have any official. I mean, we could say that Amen Thompson starting, and I'm sure that it says that the beat writer said that he's going to. They have not released a starting lineup. That's all I'm saying, and neither have the Bulls released whether Jalen Smith is playing or not.
Yeah, because it is a late addition to the injury report,
yeah,
and usually the late additions are not they're not good. So I figured I would throw that guy in and just ask you about him. And then
I think if Jalen Smith's out, he's playable. but I don't think it's like a guy you should be trying to get.
Okay, so I have another guy from Chicago. Do we know who Julian Phillips is?
Yeah, these seem like plays that if somebody's out,
Right, like if Jalen Smith is out.
If Jalen Smith, yeah, but the problem is it could be Phillips partially, it could be Bazelis. Because they're playing a team with two bigs, you'd think that they would play one of those guys. So I think both of those guys will show up as being reasonable options if he is in fact out.
Okay. I have another guy, and I like coming up with these guys. I like these guys I wrote down earlier. They're just not showing up as a play like right now. Do you like Ousmane Dieng from Oklahoma City?
These just feel like that feels very thin to me.
Well, this is why I'm just, I'm going to get to the good play. I'm going to get to the guys I have projected.
Sure. Yeah, he hasn't played more than 11 minutes in the last 4 games. There's always a chance that they could blow somebody out and they could blow out the Clippers and that he could get some run. But I mean, there's other 3K guys that are actual plays that I would play ahead of him, like Isaiah Joe, Cason Wallace, maybe even Dylan Jones. Like I just don't think we need to dumpster dive that far, I guess is my take.
Okay. And what team is the Robinson Earl?
Yeah, Jeremiah Robinson Earl. Let me just check something really quick. I just want to make sure he's in fact starting again, which we don't have officially, but assuming that he does start again.
Is he on Oklahoma City as well?
No, he's on New Orleans.
Okay.
But I don't – that's not a play I'm overly excited about. He played 30 minutes in his last games, 31 minutes, 25 minutes, 33 minutes, 24 minutes, and he only eclipsed – he got to 22 fantasy points and he's 4,500.
Okay.
I agree that Dylan Jones might be a better dart throw, by the way, with BBF in there.
Okay. So the guys that are actually showing up, which I'll run these in a minute, are, like you mentioned, Amin Thompson, for me, looks like the top overall value, and he's probably going to be the chalkiest, I imagine, right?
Gotta imagine, yeah.
Yeah. And then next I have actually a tie between the other two Houston guys, Reed Shepherd and Tari Eason.
Yep. That's what I've got as well.
Yeah. And they're, this is obviously the chalk. And then I have some other kind of chalky values. Kevin Herter.
This one I feel a little funny about that he's chalky.
Okay.
I'm getting him a decent amount, and I'm trying to lessen it. Like I probably will do it. He had a big game the last time out. No, there's no Malik Monk, so that's really the reason why he's popping up. But maybe the right idea might be to play a little bit of Keon Ellis instead as a pivot off of him. Just something I was considering. No one's playing Keon Ellis, and there's a chance that that he could end up getting some of those minutes instead. But that's probably a little too creative. But I'm saying like get 5% of him, and I'm not going to play 30% of Herter. I'm probably going to end up somewhere around the 15 to 20 range.
He was showing up as just like almost a lock on FanDuel when I first ran that. So I got to look at that again after I did the FanDuel stuff.
Yeah.
Other guys are showing up as now finally a semi-fairly priced Jose Alvarado at 6,200. That seems, at least it seems fair, but I still think he's good value here. And then the other Houston guys you could talk about, Sengun obviously, but then Dylan Brooks, 4,200.
Yeah.
He's showing up.
I don't like, for what it's worth, I'm fine like on this slate playing some Alvarado, but I will definitely not be like, that's not one that I'm like excited to play at all.
Okay.
He went 7 for 7 from the 3-point range 2 games ago. And in the last game, he had a good game with doing it other ways, but he took 18 shots. Now he is taking more shots. That's a good sign, but I just feel like we're relying a little bit on, I believe he was 7 for 7 from 3. Yeah, he was. And then he was 4 for 11 in the last game, but he still put up 41. I think he's okay. I just don't think it's like a guarantee that he has to go off. They are shorthanded, so it makes some sense. But
and you already mentioned one of the OKC guys, Isaiah Joe. Never mind, all these guys are on back-to-backs. Not that it matters too much, I guess, in this spot, but you have Dort at 4,100. He had a nice game yesterday. He's always live for good minutes. He hasn't really. Remember during like the bubble, he was like making threes.
Wait, which one? I'm sorry.
Dort.
Yeah. I mean, Dort's going to play a bunch of minutes. That's what he does. He's 4,100. He's probably a little too cheap. There is a definite bust path for him. I mean, you could just look through the game before last. He had 4 fantasy points, but he did put up 30s out of your.
But I was just mentioning. Remember back during the bubble when he went on that run where he like made a whole bunch of shots.
Yeah, he made like 7 or 8 threes in one of those playoff games. But he'll play the minutes. He's 4,100. I'm totally fine with him. I'm actually having trouble getting a little too different in many places today, and I guess the one, and TJ asked the question here: DeRozan or Jalen Williams. I'm sort of getting a lot of these 10 to 15 percenters. I want to be overweight like Wembanyama. I want to be overweight DeMar DeRozan. But they're not like, you're not getting so creative by doing that. There's only one creative play, and I bet you the ownership is wrong because your projections, I trust from even this morning, they make a lot more sense to what Ben Simmons has actually been doing. And I think assuming that Ben Simmons does play, which I mean he's going to play, but I don't really know why his projection is as low on SaberSim as it is. So he's one I'm forcing in as well. And SaberSim has him currently being like, they've got him up to 6% owned now. He was like 2% earlier. But the projection even looks pretty. It doesn't quite make sense to me why no one would play him except for that Amin Thompson's the same price, but you can play both of them.
I would so I would wait to get this Chicago news. It's really the only major news that's pending.
And it's really not major news. It's
the only news that's pending. Let's put it that way.
For sure. Except for starting lineups, for sure.
But I think it's fair if a center is out for that to be pretty relevant. No, I mean
he's the backup center, and
okay.
I mean, the only reason it's relevant to me tonight is because Cleveland plays 2 bigs with Mobley and Allen. So I do think that other guy could get some minutes.
Okay. Well, just for fun, I mean, I'll share my screen and I'll run this live to see again what we're doing as of now.
Yeah.
And again, I imagine that I'm just going to get what you said. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like a whole bunch of Amin Thompson and Shepard and all of that stuff. Let's just take a look and see. So we'll upload this and then we'll definitely want to talk about this football game.
Yeah, this is a good one. This is a huge game for my Rams.
It is. They
really need this one. And this could be the highest scoring game of the week.
Malachi Branham is out. I don't know if that means anything. I'm just getting a note here.
Yeah, it's nothing significant enough right now that I'm seeing, but maybe you could bump up some of these other guys a little bit. I don't know. We're not sure how much Vassal's going to play. I think it's probably not going to be enough to where he's especially relevant. I think that Keldon Johnson, maybe you could argue maybe that gives him a little bit of a boost. But it's nothing groundbreaking for me.
So you think that, that's a pretty high scoring total, Miami at Rams or whatever. Do you think that's going to deliver? Is it going to be one of those?
I think it will.
Games, because
my bet is that it does deliver.
Because that coach of the Dolphins has become like freaking Chuck Noll. I mean, he just runs the ball like 75 times a game now.
Right, but you can run on these guys a little bit. And TJ saying he's fading Tyreek in showdown. I don't think there's anything bold about fading Tyreek. I actually think Tyreek's projection for ownership as a captain and utility, he's getting like no love at all. So I actually think Tyreek is like a good contrarian play, playing through the wrist problem.
Yeah, I'm not fading him in a dome at low ownership. It's just
not gonna happen.
Not happening.
And
what does he have, a wrist?
Yeah.
Yeah, good luck. His wrist ain't gonna bother him when he's running away from every 100 miles an hour.
Right. And if he was gonna be like 80% owned, then sure, we can talk about fading him, but there's no reason to try to.
Who are you gonna play then? You know what I mean? You're gonna play. I mean, Waddle hasn't caught a ball since the Eisenhower administration. But we'll talk about that. I mean, I know you got those 2 Ram receivers who are live for, they still haven't played a game together because what's his name guy that got ejected in the last game?
Yeah, that's right. Naku got ejected. So I'm going to bet that doesn't happen again.
Well, we hope not. Yeah. So you'll see here, wow, this is an interesting bit of exposure. So 90% Thompson, and my next highest owned is Sengun.
Yeah, that's I do like the Sengun, and I think it makes plenty of sense. I actually think that you sort of run it'll be run through he and Almond Thompson and Jalen Green. I mean, I just think with these Houston guys, I'm just going to eat it. Like the only one, like even Jabari Smith, I have like 10% of. There was a question in chat about would we trust Jabari Smith? I don't know how to answer questions like that about trusting. I can just say that I'm playing him like 10%. It's not like this is like I think everybody gets a boost without Şengün there. I'm sorry, without Van Vliet there, and he is one of them. So the top 6 guys for the Rockets, 7 guys actually. I'm probably going to be, I don't think I have less than Jabari's the lowest one. I have at 10%. I've got 40% or more of all the rest of them.
Yeah. So Şengün, Alvarado. Look at this, 45% Ben Simmons. Okay.
One interesting thing you can't. Oh, look at that sheet. I like that.
What could go wrong?
No, it's actually strange at this price though that he's not. I mean, I'm not buying that he's not going to be owned at all. I just am not buying it. The interesting play, by the way, with Şengün, and it's an interesting way to build it. Kind of as if you could play early in the day. People like the Joval idea. I think Joval is an interesting contrarian play on the other side of that one. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, if anybody gets any news on the Bulls, let me know. I mean, I might try them. I don't know. It's a short slate with some pretty heavy freaking chalk. I mean, I might try some of those Bow Wow plays. I don't know. We'll see.
What I'm trying to figure out is, again, what the hell is going on with this projection on Clowney?
You mean Clowney or Claxton?
Clowney.
I don't know. He's getting a projection again?
He's up to they've got him. Saberson has got him. Let me just grab him here real quick because I just had this up. They've got him at 21 fantasy points and at 25% ownership, basically. I'm not really.
I'll run it again, but I mean,
I capped him at 15, and I don't really want to get to him. But if I get a little bit, I'm not gonna feel horrible.
Has he gotten there this year or no?
Not really. I mean, like he can get to 20 or whatever, but he hasn't really gotten there. And it's not we really do need starting lineups. So we need it for the Thunder, first of all, because there's no chat. And
we'll get them all though. They're all the same time. Like there's
exactly. The problem is sometimes these teams release them like 5 minutes before the game.
Oh well, that's why you got to get practice doing these things. You know what I mean? Like got to be able to run fast.
And I know Dorian Finney-Smith is out, but this thing is Jalen Wilson is actually the guy who is probably just as likely to play as many minutes as maybe even more minutes than Clowney. And we've seen Claxton out, we've seen Ben Simmons and Claxton out, and we still have not seen anything from Clowney once. And this is probably the least amount of guys who've been out for him. So if he's starting, maybe it's a little different, but I don't think he's going to start. I think it's going to be Jalen Wilson. And Claxton is probably the one that's the better play. But yeah, I mean, it's a bunch of like middling plays that sort of everybody's on, and it's really hard to get different here, without the exception of the Ben Simmons thing. If he really is going to be as low.
Don't forget the J. Phillips and the Buzelis and the
you can get those guys in there. But what are you doing? If you're getting to them, what are you doing? Like
I'm going bananas. Is what I'm doing. I don't know.
Because I don't understand why we need to.
We don't probably.
Because I think there's enough other value out there that it just doesn't.
That's not going to be 70% owned.
Well, the thing is, how often is that value actually? Even if they get there, they're.
I know. I hear you.
TJ asked about every single player on the slate so far, so I don't know how to go through this. We're going through who we're playing. Shea has been probably the worst. It would have been the worst spend out. Like I think that Shea's had 2 good games all year at this price.
Okay, so we have news on Oklahoma City. It says Mark Daigneault declined to share tonight's starting lineup. Which will be the first without Chet Holmgren in 19 months.
Get the hell out of here. What is the matter with?
That's what it says.
You refuse to share it?
Refuse to share it.
Jalen Smith is out. So let's
and there it is. It's what did I say?
We kind of figured it was you were right.
Phillips and Barzula's season. There
maybe.
It is.
But then you have them versus Clowney and Wilson. Aaron Wiggins may end up starting tonight. There's a lot of those 4K guys out there.
Yeah, here's the tweet, by the way, for the.
Oh, that's pretty funny.
The decline to share the. If you could click it, I don't know.
I can't click on it from here. I have to go into YouTube, I think.
Oh.
Because if I click on it, it'll just hide the thing.
Oh, but that's what it says.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
It declined to share. That's it. I love it.
What is this?
And then we have Trey Murphy expected to play between 20 and 30 minutes.
That's a big range. I wish I could play Trey Murphy here. I wish he was a little bit cheaper, but at 6K, it's going to be hard. With my guess is he doesn't end up playing quite as many as they project. But I also think he's a big bump down to Alvarado, Boston, Ingram, Robinson, Earl, all of them. He's a bump down for all of them.
So we're going to see if any of these turkeys pop for Chicago.
Yeah.
And who is S. Castle?
Stephon Castle. He was their first round pick this year.
Okay.
He's the other one who would get a boost also with no because he'll get some point guard responsibility. I actually like the Castle play.
Okay.
He's a little bit more expensive than you want to spend for him, but I think there's upside there. He played 34 minutes.
How much is he on DraftKings?
49.
Yeah, I got him at 48 on FanDuel. Okay, so Jay Green is this is Jalen Green for Houston.
Yeah, and TJ, I love you, man, but I can't go through every single play on it's so hard to just ask about every single play and then just you know what I mean? Like I'll tell you what I'm playing of some guys, but it feels like we're going through every single play, and then I can't also just give out all of SaberSim's ownership. We'll show it on the screen sometimes, but part of the reason why we do this is we want to try and help people who are members of the site and stuff like that, and that's why Sheeks does his builds and all that. Anyway, it's hard to go through each player, but I'm not playing Boston Jr. I'll just say that right now. I don't currently have. I might have him in like one lineup or so.
Who, Brandon Boston
Jr. I don't like him as much with Murphy back.
Let me see. So Jalen Smith is now out. Yeah, it looks like I don't know if they fixed it, but I got Julian Phillips with a big old 10 ball, his 10-point projection now. Let's see. So was he start? Wait. So no, Vooch is
nothing's different.
And keep something in mind. I mean, Chicago is a 10-point underdog, right?
They're at home.
No, I know, but they're still a 10-point underdog.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's blowout risk, sort of. There's Houston blowout risk too. By the way.
Yeah, they're playing the Wizards for sure. Always that one feels more real blowout risky. It's really weird to see a team like a 10-point underdog at home or an 8-point underdog at home, whatever they are, the Bulls.
Who's going to be the lucky guy though for Houston that stays in if it's a blowout?
Tari Eason will probably get some. It depends on what kind of a blowout it is. Reed Shepherd will probably get some of it.
Whoever was hot, I guess that helped the blowout, I suppose.
Yeah, and I'm look, let's have these teams be world beaters before we anoint them.
No, I'm just
At least the Cavs are 11-0. So and my hot take earlier in the day was I actually think that there's a chance the Bulls win this game. That was my bet would be the Bulls plus 300. 3-1 dog at home is, and the Cavs are going to lose at some point. You know what I mean? They almost lost to Brooklyn at home.
This is so SaberSim. So, like I just saw that Jalen Smith is out. You get the little arrow, the little lightning bolt. So just to do a placeholder, I just say, okay, just save the next best player. And like all my Jalen Smith was replaced with, of course, Noah Clowney.
Right. Yeah, I think Clowney is going to have more ownership now, especially because that Jalen Smith news. I actually think Jalen Smith was a good play.
Yeah.
Before this, if he was to play tonight. Who might get a little bit of a boost, and it's a very weird one because it's not a guy who really gets a lot of usage no matter what. But maybe there's extra minutes for Patrick. No, they're probably going to go to Buzelis or Phillips, I guess, off the bench.
Buzelis.
I like the Buzelis.
It's all about the Buzelis.
That's my guy.
It's all about the Buzelis.
I thought I was super sharp on Friday when I played the 65% Zach Edey after they announced he wasn't starting.
Yes.
and he put up 35 or something like that.
He was like 5% owned, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was like unowned, and it just still couldn't get there.
Yeah.
And the other one, Keita, I think ended up not having a game. Right? He didn't do it. He didn't.
Oh, Keita, that's right. Keita.
And instead I played. I had the right mixes. I just couldn't quite win. I actually won on the slate. I just didn't win like anything big. But going back to, we can jump back to the football for a minute. While I guess because I still think.
Dude, I got some football takes.
Okay, let's hear it. What do you got for football?
Okay, so there's two things that I like. One from each team that's a little bit different. Not different. I don't even know how different they're going to be. Now it wouldn't be the first time that what's his name, McVay kind of confused everybody, whatever. But it seems pretty clear that Cody Parkinson is negative trend. Basically benched in the second half last week, and Davis Allen just kind of emerged as the guy that took most of the snaps, and he's like minimum cost. So I definitely like that. And
I like that
and if you want to get really funky, you play the other tight end also. The not also, but in different lineups. The Long, is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
That's that. The other thing I had was on the Miami side. The other guy it seems as though every time I looked, he had the ball, but apparently he's been fumbling, and I think that Mostert's kind of on the way down.
He had a big fumble in that Bills game that they lost, and I forced myself to have not much, but just I actually captained him, and I think I've gotten 3% right now.
So I was gonna decide between the two other running backs, like Wright and Ingold, but Ingold is inactive. He's out.
Yeah, it would be Wright. Would be the one I need.
So now I like that. So those are the two guys I like. I also, instead of playing the I got to make sure all these guys are active. But as far as like other like stupid punts, I don't want to play OBJ. I think he's going to probably be, just because of name value, maybe a little bit higher owned than I want him to be. I'd rather go with the Malik Washington.
Okay.
And then also on the Miami side, I wouldn't mind taking a stab at the guy off injured reserve, the Craycraft.
Yeah, River Craycraft.
Yeah, so those are the low cost guys I'm interested in.
So I actually like all those takes, except for I'm on the OBJ at low ownership thing.
Okay,
and I'll buy it in. I'll buy the narrative too. Going back to LA where he wanted to help us win a Super Bowl. It's a good game environment for him. I'll take some shots with him.
Okay,
but the ones I'm getting the most of at captain that I do love Kyron Williams tonight, but I just don't want to be at the most chalky captain. I'll be well overweight. Tyreek Hill's projected to be 5% owned as captain because people are afraid. I don't care. I'll gamble on it. You know what I mean? It feels like, okay, Tyreek Hill will be the second most popular or the most popular captain, but because of people are worried about his wrist, then he's going to end up being like the 6th most owned. And one I thought you were going to mention for captain that I think is actually not even that crazy of a play is Jonnu Smith.
I like him a lot.
Yeah, I think he's a good captain play though, as a potential guy. I could see him being
captain, huh?
Yeah.
You know what I'd be interested to know? I'd be interested to know what lineups look like with what's his name in the captain, with Allen in the captain.
So I did that, and you're going to have the same exact lineup everyone else does.
Yeah, I figured that's going to be a very popular construction, actually.
Yeah, so if you have either he or Craycraft, you're going to have the exact same other players, unless you like specifically try to leave, because you'll end up leaving like a couple thousand on the table, I think, anyway.
Okay.
And there's just not enough people high enough priced.
Right.
And even though Waddle's been bad, I just feel like this is a spot where I'm betting on the home run hitters here today. I don't want to play the defenses. The kickers are usually I'm very into on showdown slates, but I'm a little less on them tonight because I just feel like these guys are going to score points and there's going to be touchdowns and it's going to come from different directions.
Yeah, it looks like they haven't really changed anything, at least yet, with the Bulls, or maybe they won't.
It may not be that big of a change, is what my guess is.
Right. I wish I'd noticed if it was, if they made any changes. I guess
I haven't seen anything.
It's gonna the same starters. Again, the starters won't make a difference anyway.
Right.
And the Houston starters, I don't think it's does it matter who starts for Houston? Probably, right?
I think it matters, but I think we're assuming right now that it's going to be Amin Thompson, and I don't care. It doesn't take me off of Reed Shepherd at all.
Well, Amin Thompson is what price?
He's 5K, but he can put up points, some fantasy points.
He can.
The problem, the thing is though, like it's an interesting decision to try because he's probably going to end up like 65% on, maybe not in the lottery thing. Maybe he's like only 50 or 60, but he might be like 90 or 85. He could, it's potential that he could get that high in the big buy-ins, and that would be where my place to try and maybe fade him. And there's no problem with playing him with Reed Shepherd, as I mentioned earlier. I think
so. It looks like Dalen Terry is higher than it was before.
So he would be the other one if they went smaller.
Right.
He would get the run. So that's why with the Bulls guys, I just don't think you're going to see that big of a jump because we don't really know who it's going to be. And I honestly don't think they know who it's going to be.
Right.
Are they going to try to match up big for big? Are they going to try and go smaller and quicker? It's an interesting thought, you know?
Just so listen, just to let's say keep it real. I'm gonna give myself 10% of all these guys.
10%.
At least.
Ooh, Buzelis and Phillips?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
It's 10%. I mean, it's 10%.
I have him at 2%.
Yeah, whatever. It's 10%. Whatever. It's not like I'm selling my whole family short. You know what I mean? And then who are these other guys that I mentioned? I just kind of want to just not let them beat me. This Dieng character. I'm gonna give myself a 10 ball of him too.
Oh my God, this is big ownerships we're talking about here.
Yep. It's a 5-game slate.
Right.
I mean,
for what it's worth, when you're getting Isaiah Joe at 5% ownership, I just think you just roll with that instead. The guy can make he's one of the best shooters in the NBA. Dylan Jones is the one who's popping for them now. Yeah, that's the one who I was saying that I thought was the better play than the Jang. But now that I see his ownership, maybe Jang is an interesting pivot off of them. I just don't know that Jang is going to do anything at all.
He might not play at all, like you would say.
I actually like the Kenrich Williams play better than him because Kenrich Williams can actually take up a forward spot and doesn't lock up that center spot that I like so much. Obviously.
So that's going to be my that's my process. I'm doing minimum 10% of Buzelis, 10% of Phillips, 10% of Dieng, 10% of Earl, and then I'm just running everything else straight.
Okay, I like it.
And then we'll just see what happens.
Yeah.
And like I say, the good thing about having 10% Buzelis is that 90% of my lineups will be live. So that's good.
So Joe is in the starting. So that means Isaiah Joe's ownership is going to go up. But who else is starting for them? Because we still need to figure out whether it's going to be Wiggins. Let's see is the starting lineup out? The Nets lineup is out. And the next, the Nets started Zaire Williams.
Is that a thing?
For a small slate, there's a lot of interesting things here.
So that's a thing?
Yeah, he's 3,700. And I thought it'd be he's a high volatility guy, but if people are going to play the Clowney, he's put up 30 a couple times this year already, and I think it's worth taking a stab at least a little.
Yeah, so that's what I'll do. I'm not going to run a whole set of new projections with everybody, but I'll update the Brooklyn stuff when the Brooklyn stuff updates. So what?
And they did in fact start. So we do have the lineup for the Thunder. It is in fact what's his name? They're playing Jalen Williams at center, and they're playing Wiggins in the starting lineup.
And Wiggins didn't.
He's a high. I mean, look, when you have Trey on your team,
I had him yesterday. He was good for a while. Then he just didn't come back in the game.
That's what happens. They're good. They're deep because you get Caruso. I mean, we all know Caruso is going to play his normal 20+ minutes. We all know that Isaiah Cho is going to get his he's starting now, so he's going to get his 20 minutes anyway. At least Cason Wallace off the bench, I think is a really good play to get off of what should become Joe Chalk.
So that means that Clowney's going to be lower, right?
I think so, but I don't know. I'm just curious if other people are even getting the same projection on Clowney that SaberSim has. It feels,
but he's got it. The projection has to come down if Zaire Williams is starting. No.
I don't think that anybody was ever expecting Clowney to start.
Oh, right. Okay.
I think it's just that he's the big man off the bench. You could go on Zubac, by the way, but just a warning, though. These guys the Thunder play the best defense in basketball by far. It's not even close. Like, their defensive rating is so far ahead of everybody. And I know they don't have Chet, and he's a big part of that. And Zubac has been he's turned into what we always thought he could be when he was with the Lakers. He's a really good player. So I think Zubac is totally reasonable. But I'm having for whatever reason I'm having trouble with this one. I actually think the Clippers are like, for some reason, I don't think this game's going to stay close. That's just my take.
So who'd you say was starting for OKC?
So for OKC,
Joe.
Aaron Wiggins and Isaiah Joe.
So those projections are probably going to change at some degree.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just wait on that.
Yeah.
Let me see what the Miami. I'm going to do a Miami build, and let me see what I do there. And again, I am who's out that it's listed. So all these guys. So Cody Schrader is out. Alec Ingold is out. D. Eskridge is out. Like, so all these like kind of like puntorama plays. There some of these punts that were like kind of in play earlier are out. That being, who are these guys? Like Tanner Connor, Xavier Smith. Does he ever play? No, right?
I don't.
Ronnie Rivers. When's the last? Does he get any snaps ever? No, right?
Oh, we're talking about back to football. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's possible, but I wouldn't play him on this kind of a slate. But then again, I said the same thing about the guy for who scored the 95-yard touchdown for Baltimore.
Blake Corum, is he going to get anything?
Yeah, he'll play.
I'm a little nervous about playing the two Atwells and Tyler Johnsons because I think that what's his name is the legit wide receiver 3.
Who? Robinson?
Yeah, and again,
so it's interesting the way it works because when Kupp and Nakua are out, Atwell becomes the number 1.
Right.
But when they're in, Robinson is their other guy because they want to have the big ability. And Atwell's got a little bit of it too. But I don't think that that's how they run it. He's their guy. He's their other the receiver. The third receiver. I really like your Davis Allen idea. I think that's the one I can.
And I don't think it's going to be particularly earth shattering.
No, I agree.
I think in big buy-ins he's going to be probably 20% owned.
Yeah, it could. It's possible that Ronnie Rivers could somebody like. It's possible. I just don't think I don't want to do it particularly. I like the Davis Allen thing. I like the Allen. I'm good with the Craycraft. I'll spend my stuff there. The Craycraft we don't even have official word on yet. I don't even see the official.
No, he's active.
He's active, but what's his name was active too yesterday, and he didn't play.
Well, I can't. They're not going to announce if he's going to play, right? I mean, well,
he's still officially questionable. Even if he's active, if he's active, doesn't mean you know how they have like the.
I guess so. Okay.
I don't know. It's a new thing I've noticed in football. They'll say somebody's active, but they don't. They say that, but he's not going to. They don't expect him to play. Like what's his name was activated from the list last night. Sheets in the showdown for the Texans. Their best receiver Nico Collins, and then he didn't play.
And then the Jordan Whittington. So Hill and Smythe. I don't think that. Boy, I really like that other guy more. I mean, a lot. The actual starting tight end for Miami.
Jonnu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I need to go there with
I agree with you.
Backups.
And remember, there's going to be points. I mean, there should be points scored. And I can't promise there's going to be, but I'm playing it as if it's going to be I think the total is they're going to crush the total in this one. But every now and then, though, like you said, McDaniel started taking the air out of the ball, and you know that McVay will do that at times. So he likes to go contrarian to what everybody thinks. That's my only fear. I like it if you're going to play like either Mostert or the other backup running back. That I think it's totally good to play the two of them together, and just hope.
Which ones?
You play A-Chain with whether it's Mostert or more maybe the better play yet with the right. Yeah. Yeah, I like this rate idea. And they like him too. I mean, it was a 4th round pick, I believe. Should we show your screen or should we not show it?
No, we're not, because
okay, I wanted to make sure.
No, I'm going back and forth with other sports here too. Okay, so let me see. Okay, so Brooklyn, they have starters in here, so I presume that means they updated the projection. Yeah, so they're giving Zaire now 20.
I'm also interested in Tyler Johnson showing up so much. Huh.
Yeah, I think that's a bad play. I don't know.
I mean, just as a Rams fan, he does get in there. He played the other game with Nakua and Cup. He got some snaps, even though it's mostly going to be the other guy. Yeah, I don't mind being a little bit overweight on it.
Was Ben Simmons always not starting?
That was he's never projected to start today.
Okay.
They've been bringing him off the bench, but I think they've overcorrected his projection. I mean, I just don't agree with the projection on him.
Let me see something. So OKC, everything is the same here. They still have only Isaiah Joe with only 17 fantasy points. It seems a little low, no?
The one who got the big boost is Dylan Jones. Isaiah Joe, yeah, I mean, he's got a range of outcomes. Like, again, but remember that these guys have I don't know, that without Chet, it's one of their, it's their second best player not being available. So Jalen Williams and Shea are obviously good plays, but like somebody else is going to have to do something. It's going to be Wiggins or Dort, or Wiggins or Joe or Wallace or Caruso. Dylan Jones may get in there for some minutes. I still don't know if they're going to end up going to much Jang, but it's interesting. And I think Kenrich could get some minutes tonight, even though he hasn't played. Although he's available now, yeah. So
just for fun, what are these? They didn't do anything with these Chicago guys. Okay, so we're gonna be playing minimum. What did I say? 10%. Dale and Terry, 10% Julian Phillips, 10% Buzelis, 10% Earl, and 10%. What team is Jang on? Is he on New Orleans too?
He's on OKC, and he's
on OKC.
Maybe you split it between him and Kenrich Williams or something.
He's on OKC.
Yeah,
right. So, and we want 10% of that. Everything else the same. And now I have the Brooklyn stuff done, and now we're going to rebuild. Okay.
The other one that's kind of interesting is the AJ Mitchell.
Okay.
I mean, I don't really get why he's projected so poorly. The last 2 games, he's put up 31 and 17. He's 3,500. Obviously, there's no Chet now. I think that's the one I would like to gamble on personally a little bit more than the Jang.
Right. And again, the keys for just reviewing again, Mike, the keys for my football are right. I mean, obviously the good plays, but Wright and Allen.
Yeah.
And then fading to some degree for me, Mostert and Parkinson. And the rest just kind of just let roll, I suppose.
Yeah.
You like any of the kickers, defense? No, you don't like those because
I'm okay with the kickers more than the defenses, but I mean, sure, something could always happen, but I just think it's going to be a scoring night.
Yeah.
But that could come down to kicking. I mean, it stops whatever. Like, and get a few field goals. You got 10 fantasy points, pretty good.
So again, the lesson here, well, not the lesson is that you don't have to just take what SaberSim gives you, what the projections give you. You can take shots and not go too crazy. I started with just 10% of a couple of guys, and then I just kind of ran it anyway. And at now, what I'd be getting, do I even care? Do I even want to look? I probably don't even want to look. Probably better off to not look.
I want to reemphasize that I really like Wembanyama tonight.
Well, why not? Right?
This is the kind of matchup where he has like 10 stocks or something. Like, it feels like it. Although, how about that game that did you see that Sabonis became the first player ever to have a triple double with no turnovers and no missed shots?
Really?
Yeah, that's tough to do.
Right. So where's my guys? What's the guy's name? Burseller?
BUZ.
See, this is what I don't like. I'm still getting 0 of him, even though I demanded.
Try to get it in there. I know it's weird.
Let me see. Let me see something. Oh, this is a thing, huh? That it really, if it really doesn't like you.
Sometimes it doesn't let me do it. Yep, I run into it all the time. Yeah, I guess Wembanyama is one of my bigger takes of what I want to do tonight. I just think his ceiling is biased on the slate by a pretty good amount.
And this Buzelis, he's on Chicago or no?
Buzelis is on Chicago.
Oh, Buzelis, right? Okay, so 11. Okay, this is going to be good enough. I'm going to override the system, and we'll go min uniques 3, and there you go. Oh, I'm overweight. I have 11% of all these guys now. Excellent.
Let's go. There you go. Man, you're selling out so fast on Stake Kings these days. Like right when I see that you posted, I could try to get in there and it's already sold out. Somebody got the memo.
Maybe they didn't realize who I was playing tonight.
They're trying to get a refund right now.
Exactly.
I'm getting DMs right now. Bobby, you want some Sheets action tonight?
Yeah, right. Cheap. 0.98. That's it.
0.98, right?
0.98. All right. Let me do. I'll tell you. Just and you would have thought that like because I'm in Stake Kings, part of it I wanted to kind of keep myself in check. Not do anything like too tilty.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not working tonight apparently. Okay, so let's do the same thing with FanDuel. So what I usually do is when there's been news like that, I won't like redo all the projections for everything. Mm-hmm. I'll just like go in and just take the SaberSim projections for the particular teams that were different.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it just
makes sense.
A little lazy, I guess, but it is what it is.
Boy, Reed Shepard's projection dropped, and no one's going to play him, and I think it's an awesome play. So I'm going to be well overweight that one.
Shepard, his projection dropped, and
yeah, like 14 fantasy points they got him because I guess they were sort of hedging in case he started.
I guess so, huh?
But I'll roll with it. I'm good with that. Yeah, I've got 87.
Even Adams is a game time decision. Is that a thing or no?
I think he's going to play, which actually is a tiny bit of a boost down to Şengün, but not enough to where I think you want to not play Şengün. I mean, Şengün's going to just beat these guys up. I have more. I keep getting more. No matter what I do, I can't seem to get less Sabonis, and I'd like to.
Sabonis is your guy tonight.
Is my Buzelis?
Is your Buzelis? No, because you're getting much more of that guy than a Buzelis.
Yeah, I'm trying to get him down to 25%. It's been a challenge.
Jock Landale's still playing. These guys that are out, it's like brutal.
I'm calling it right now. This is the Reed Shepard game. Reed Shepard's going to put up 35 fantasy points today.
Off the bench. Let's go.
He can do it, man.
Yeah, why not?
I mean, he's got the game. Like he can make like 8 threes. It's against this Washington team. It's the perfect matchup. I love getting there. I don't know. Also, I've got way more Shea than I was planning to have tonight.
You keep forgetting Shea's even playing.
Yeah, it's.
You think that all these guys look good because Shea was out, but
right. But it's really the Holmgren of it all. Oh shit! I gotta get this updated. I got 10 minutes.
Oh, we got plenty of time.
Yeah, plenty of time.
Absolutely plenty of time.
Yeah, I'm not spread out, but I've only got 3 players over 40%: Şengün, Green, and Thompson. And Tari Eason's I have 39%, so it's basically the same. Then Garland, then Reed Shepard, then Ben Simmons and Wembanyama because I wanted to force him to Ben Simmons.
So listen, I hope everybody remembers. Now again, I know it's I'd like to say it's a small sample size or whatever, but I just hope everybody remembers about playing these freaking chalk defenses that show up in 50% of lineups. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's just bad business. It just is. And okay, it's not, whatever. It's not even like the Patriots like lit them up.
Right.
You just need like a lot of to cover that ownership, you just need a lot of points. That's the best.
Yeah.
That's the best way to describe it.
Yep.
Okay. Let me. So I'll go over my exposures, I guess, if that helps. So on DraftKings, I have 87% Thompson, 55% Eason, 55% Sengun. Then the next highest owned is actually Jay Williams from Oklahoma City.
Yeah, I have that too.
50% of that. I got way too much of the Herder, like 40.
Yeah, I pared him down.
And I have, as advertised, 11% Buzelis, 11% Phillips, 11% Terry, 11% Yang, and 11% Jay Robinson Earl as the hoodoos to see what happens.
Yep, that makes sense.
On FanDuel, let's see the FanDuel ownership here. FanDuel, I have, oh God, I have 90% of a guy I'm not allowed to say. Then 78% Thompson.
It's Herder.
54% Eason. 25%. Wait, 51% Evan Mobley.
I like Mobley tonight too.
Alvarado, and yeah, like you said, like 90% of like what is Herder, like 2,000?
He's 40. He's 41, but it's the no Monk thing.
Yeah, it's the no Monk thing. He's 4,400. I'm talking about FanDuel.
Oh, on FanDuel, yeah, he's 44. That's close to that's close to the minimum there.
Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah, I've got 83% Thompson, 47% Şengün, 40% Jalen Green, 33% Shepard, 33% Wembanyama, 33% Ben Simmons, 33% Jalen Williams, 30% Alvarado only because I paired him down because they were trying to give me like 70%. 30% Mobley, 30% Shea, 30% Jared Allen, 25% Herder. I did not end up with as much Eason as I thought I was going to.
Okay.
I'm okay with that. I'm a little worried about it, but let's just see real quick. Maybe I can run one more here before we get out of here.
Who's Allen?
I wonder if they're just trying to they're just not letting me have that. There we go. Now I'm back up to 40. Okay. That makes more sense to me. All right. This looks pretty good.
Malik Washington. So we got to figure out what's going on with the Craycraft. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I just didn't see it official, but I mean, even still, like he's sort of their fourth receiver now anyway, or maybe their fifth. I don't know, depending on where you see the other guys, but they do look for him enough when he's been in there and he's played with them before, so I like that. Yeah, so now I'm up to 93% Thompson. Now I got 40% Eason. Okay, I like that a little bit better. I can definitely.
Just according to Durham Smythe. So I have like tiny little shares of these other receivers here. It looks like. Let's see what captains I have. Captains. I mean, I'm not really particularly different at captain. Kyron Williams, A-Chain, Cup, Stafford, Hill, usual guys. I didn't get to. Oh my God! I got one Ronnie Rivers captain. All right, that's going away. that I can't do.
It's not totally impossible.
No, not totally impossible.
I think I would rather if you're going to do that, just may as well do Tyler Johnson or Blake Corum. I think is probably the better idea. But there won't be many out there, but they'll all be the same. That's the only problem.
I don't think there's anything wrong with putting some Tyreek Hill at captain.
Yep.
But some of this at captain. What's wrong with Puka at captain? I mean, all these. I like the receivers at captain.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't play as many quarterbacks at captain as other people do, and I feel like it's generally the upside is just so a quarterback's like never getting 30, like hardly ever getting 35, whereas the receivers really can get 35 regularly.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, my top 4 captains are Hill, Cup, Nakua, Waddle. There you go.
Yeah, I've got Hill, Cup. I've got Cup, then Hill, A-Chain, Waddle, then Nakua, and Stafford. I want max 7.
A whole bunch of Davis Allen, Jalen Wright.
Boy, they are loving the Tyreek Hill, aren't they? Jesus.
What do you mean?
They loaded me up on him, and they got the 27% of him as captain.
Yeah.
That's all right. Take a gamble. All right, I'm gonna do it.
I'm a little nervous about having too much Kyron Williams, but every time I think that, he just always gets the ball.
He's just that's right.
He just always gets the ball,
and he always freaking he's just good. He's good, and he always gets the ball, like you said.
I mean, the only thing I will say, again, same as before, is that this is the first time, again, with all of these guys in.
Yeah, but I actually think that in some ways that kind of helps him too. I mean, because when he played with them, he was still smashing last year when they were playing.
Right.
Because it just takes, because when they just stack everybody up to stop the run, then it makes it tricky for them. All right, yeah. I ended up with 20% of Jason Sanders from Miami. I don't mind that, the kicker. Only 12% Davis Allen. I kind of wanted to get a little bit higher on that. I like the Davis Allen idea. I think I might even put him in my high buy in here.
And he can get a 0, and it's not the end of the world either.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't think he's going to. I actually think that you picked up on an interesting thing. I'm curious with everybody back how it's going to roll exactly.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I've got Cup in the big one. I don't want the Rams defense. Let's do Waddle. And we'll do Sanders. And we will do, what if we did Davis Allen here? What do we get with Davis Allen? I think it's a good play. I really do. 5-man Ram stack for the win, maybe. Maybe a little too greedy. And then Wright, we talked about before, he actually started getting more looks last week, 6 carries in a tight game. I like the Jalen Wright also. Okay. So what if we did Jalen Wright instead of that? And then we have Sanders.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you my exposures in the showdown slate. And all I can as the entire Stake Kings community presses for a refund, we will share this right now. View exposures, NFL. We have overall. It doesn't break it down by captain or whatever.
No.
Well, I could do it from SaberSim. Okay. So as far as captain goes, we have 20% Tyreek Hill, 15% Cooper Kupp, 15% Puka Nakua, 15% Jalen Waddle, 15% Kyron Williams, 15%, 12% Devon A-Chain, and like 1% Stafford, 1% Tua, and 0% the rest.
Yep.
In the flex, we have 54% Devon A-Chain, 52% Cooper Kupp, and 50% Davis Allen.
Let's go.
And then 39% Kyron Williams, 39% Stafford. The key, and then 34% Jalen Wright. So I stood by my takes, and I just so you know, I X'd out Cody Parkinson. And unfortunately, I didn't X out, but I have only 10% Rasheed Mostert. And I only have 2% of the following. Odell Beckham, which I'm not as worried about, but I am worried about only having 2% of the DeMarcus Robinson. But you can't have everybody.
Yep.
And that's the way that's where we are. I should probably get more Jonnu Smith. That's the one thing I might do a little more of. What if I got myself a little more Jonnu Smith? Maybe I should have a little bit more like of the Craycraft, just in case.
Right.
I have very little of these defenses, by the way.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, I'm not getting to it either.
Very little of the defenses.
Odell Beckham, right, and yeah, I'm going with it. I'm doing the Beckham thing.
At 20%, Jonnu Smith, that feels light. You know what? We're good. Let me just make sure the captain didn't change too much as I made those changes. A little more Hill now. Hill's my highest owned captain now officially. And I think we are now good to go. We will put unique rank. Just make sure I have all the right contests in. Yep. And we are good to go. All right. That should do it, everybody. We want to check some ownership. Let's check some ownership. Why not? Let's see. Of the NBA.
Yeah, why not?
They're all in. Everything started, right?
Amazing. We never have had that.
Well, it's 8:01. We'll have it in 8:05.
No, I know. We never get everybody at once, though. Well, Dalen Terry was 0.3% owned. I know because I have him in one lineup. Reed Shepard ended up 14%. Ben Simmons ended up 12.5%. So I was right that he was going to be higher than I thought. Clowney ended up at 1%. Sabonis 19. Cason Wallace only 4. Yeah, people went crazy for the starters. Wembanyama only 12. Kevin Huerter 30. Let's see who else. Karis LeVert 11. Coro 0.9. Patrick Williams 2.4. I like that one. Isaiah Joe 17%. Tari Eason 50%. What happened to I'm in 75%. Yeah.
75?
Yeah. But he'll probably be 90 in the bigger buy-ins. All right. Well, I'm gonna go hang out with my son for a little bit and maybe turn on the Rams game. Good luck tonight, Chiefs. Good luck, everybody. Anything else we should add before we get out of here?
No, it should be good.